Welcome to Anime Fanfiction Audiobook. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Chapter 9, Sengoku's Arrival. In the New World, the Marine Headquarters G5. The low-rank soldiers had basically all fainted. Bullet's color of Supreme King Haki was not a joke. These soldiers did not have the strength to withstand it. As for the captains and commanders who managed to stay conscious, it was difficult for them to intervene in the battle between the two. The battle between Sakazuki and Bullet had already shattered the ground. What was even more terrifying was that there were almost no wounds on Bullet's body. His powerful body and the color of arms Haki all over his body made Sakazuki, a marine monster, feel a sense of powerlessness in his heart. But even if he was a little powerless, he would not give up at all. His eyes burned with extremely dense killing intent. Perhaps when he faced the evil pirates in his eyes, he did not understand what fear was. Bullet! A frantic roar burst out from Sakazuki's mouth. He forcibly resisted Barrett's fist. After being knocked back half a step, his entire body began to lean forward. At this time, his right hand had completely turned into lava, Hellhound. He transformed his arm into magma and lashed it towards Bullet. This was one of his trump cards. In the future, when he was an admiral, he used this move to melt off part of the Whitebeard's head. Unfortunately, he was still young now. Whether it was strength or experience, he could not reach that level just yet. Bullet grinned, and his expression became more and more ferocious. Just as Hellhound rushed towards him, he simply raised his hand and directly grabbed Sakazuki's fist with his arms coated in color of arms Haki. Marine monster? Ha ha ha, not bad. Too bad it isn't enough. Bullet pulled Sakazuki to his side and stared at him with eyes like that of an evil ghost. You are sharp enough, but your strength has still got ways to go. You are far weaker than Rayleigh. The moment he finished speaking, his body quickly turned dark blue. An incomparably powerful aura soared into the sky, and waves of air swept in all directions. Up until now, he still hadn't used his true strength. Now, the demon's air has finally bared the tip of his fang. Devil form. By fusing his own color of arms and color of Supreme King Haki, his speed and strength were greatly enhanced. Under this form, Bullet was like a demon from hell. This was his most powerful form without using the power of his devil fruit ability. Terrifying. Borsellino couldn't help but exclaim in surprise when he felt Bullet's explosive power. This wasn't a joke. He was truly shocked by Bullet's terrifying power. I don't think he's much weaker than the admirals, right? If you look the other way while fighting me, you may end up dead, you know. With Dying Will Flame's propelling force, Giotto's speed was also quite fast. Taking advantage of the moment when the other party was distracted, he quickly closed the distance with Kizaru. When the distance between the two was less than 1 meter, Dying Will armament, Bone Crusher. Bullet had the power to fuse color of arms and color of Supreme King Haki, and under his guidance, Giotto learned how to combine Dying Will Flame and color of arms Haki. Moreover, it was too late to dodge at this time. Borsellino could only use his body's instinctive reaction to block Giotto's attack with his hand coated in color of arms Haki. But he wasn't a good student back in his early days. He was too focused on honing his devil fruit ability that he didn't put effort into other aspects despite Z teaching him the Rokushiki, the color of arms, and color of observation Haki. This was also a weakness of his. Beak. A muffled sound exploded in the air, and then a silhouette turned into a beam of light before falling to the ground. At this time a light flashed in Giotto's eyes, and Giotto instinctively tilted his body to the right. Almost at the same time, a laser was shot at where his left shoulder was just now. It seems that you are not an easy opponent. Since you can dodge that one, your color of observation Haki must be quite powerful. The dust dispersed, and Kizaru was still there with his right hand raised. He just wanted to take advantage of the moment when Giotto could not see him and attack him, but he did not expect that his opponent could easily dodge it. In truth, Giotto couldn't dodge it with just his color of observation Haki. It was his hyper-intuition that played a huge part at that moment earlier. Vongola's hyper-intuition was a power that could see through all. It could see through the enemy's disguise, detect the malice of others, and see through the illusion. In battle, it could even allow Giotto to predict the enemy's movement, giving him an advantage in battle. Just now, he had relied on his own super sense to avoid the opponent's laser attack. At this time, Giotto ignored the opponent and turned to Bullet. Bullet. What took you so long to deal with a vice admiral? He didn't want to waste time here. After all, this was the Marine headquarters. He accompanied Bullet to make a scene because he owed Bullet a favor. More importantly, he felt a sense of danger just now. Unless there was a problem with his hyper-intuition, there would definitely be trouble. What are you so afraid of? Giotto. Bullet laughed and punched at Sakazuki crazily. If his opponent still had the strength to resist earlier, then that would no longer be the case after he entered the devil form. Had it not for the sheer power of the Magmag devil fruit, Sakazuki would have already been dead. Now, even though he was still facing Bullet head-on, compared to him, he was countless times more miserable. Bullet, don't think you can defile justice. Sakazuki panted heavily, completely ignoring the blood all over his body. He pounced on Bullet like a mad dog. Great eruption. The two of them were in close combat. He believed that even Bullet wouldn't be able to completely defend against Great Eruption at such a distance. At the same time, a warship on the sea was approaching the G5 branch as fast as it could, and a navy in an admiral's coat was on the ship. All troops. This time, we must arrest Bullet. Do you understand? Yes, Admiral Sengoku. Chapter 10 Illusionist with a Frog Hat. Because Giotto was in the air, he could see better than Bullet. In addition, his color of observation hockey was quite good, allowing him to spot a marine warship not far from the G5 branch. He also clearly knew that Sengoku the Buddha was on board. He didn't expect that the wise admiral who should have stayed in the headquarters would actually come here. Bullet. The admiral is already here. Do you want to continue? At this time, Giotto frowned and sighed in his heart. 1 billion belly was not easy to earn. Huh? Sengoku? Finally, a worthy opponent. How can he leave? Even if Garp is here, I have to destroy this headquarter today. I am the strongest in the world. How can I retreat because of a marine? Hearing that Sengoku had arrived, not only did Bullet not have any intention of leaving, he instead became even more excited and crazy. I'll leave this too trash to you, don't lump me with the likes of them. I can't ask for a better situation, not to mention the 1 billion of Belly's reward. I remember that you said before that you wouldn't disappoint me, right? Giotto. Bam. The moment his words fell, he directly punched Sakazuki back, then turned around and rushed toward Admiral Sengoku like a cannonball. After Roger's death, Bullet had gone completely crazy. Unless he was completely defeated, no one could make him stop his rampage. Sighing heavily, Giotto was somewhat helpless. I will never agree to your deal in the future. The price for keeping these two monsters at bay is far more than 1 billion. Indeed, if Sakazuki and Borsellino were pirates, then their bounty was definitely more than 1 billion. Even if they had not reached their peak yet, they were formidable enough nonetheless. After all, they were the top devil fruit users. If they were defeated so easily, then in the future, they wouldn't be able to be called admirals. But then again, Giotto definitely drew the short straw. Even if he didn't want to continue fighting with the Marines here, Giotto had to keep his promise. Then, I will be your opponent. Giotto slowly descended from the sky and stood about 10 meters away from Sakazuki. Dying Will Flame almost exploded with all his strength. He was not Bullet, after all. He couldn't face the two monsters and let his guard down. Speaking of which, I heard just now that your deal with Bullet is 1 billion belly, right? If you help us arrest him at this time, the reward you will get won't be less than that. Borsellino landed beside Sakazuki. Then, he tempted Giotto, how about it? Do you want to think about it? I can vouch for your innocence. Don't talk nonsense, Borsellino. Without waiting for Giotto to say anything, Sakazuki stood up and shouted angrily, "How can you ask for help from a heinous bastard like him? What you did just now is tarnishing justice. Look, your companion has rejected such a possibility. And for Vongola, kindness is also a very important kind of persistence, so I will not go back on my promise. Of course, if you don't want to fight, you can just stand in place, and I will not." "Shut your stinky mouth, pirate." Akainu created a wave of magma shaped like a fanged dog head and launched it against Giotto, dog biting Crimson Lotus. In this case, he'll have to exit the stage early. Kama Jewel of 8 Shaku. At the same time, Borsellino did not hesitate. He flew into the air and crossed his arms in front of him before blasting a torrent of deadly light particles, causing extreme damage to whatever they hit. Even the strongest pirate had to take this joint attack seriously. Giotto was naturally no exception. In the face of the attack from the sky and the ground, Dying Wolf Flame suddenly disappeared, and an extremely cold aura spread from his body. Relying on his hyper-intuition to determine the trajectory of the opponent's attack, he swiftly dodged the light bullets falling from the sky before brushing past the dog biting Crimson Lotus and grabbing it. All of his movements were as smooth as flowing water, making it impossible to find any flaws in them. For the information, dog biting Crimson Lotus by Sakazuki involved him extending his arm. Holding the dog head was no different from grabbing his fist. Dying Wolf Flame 0-point breakthrough. A calm voice came out of Giotto's mouth. The Dying Wolf Flame turned into cold air at this moment, and layers of ice quickly covered the hot magma, which was Sakazuki's body. How is this possible? Isn't this Kuzan's power? My lava can't melt the ice? What kind of monster are you? Incomparable anger, a deafening roar. At that moment, his entire right arm was completely frozen. One had to know that his arm was lava, and even Kuzan could not freeze it, yet the guy in front of him did it effortlessly. Moreover, no matter how he tried, he could not melt this damn ice. After all, the ice formed by the 0-point breakthrough was not something that ordinary forces could melt. In the Katekyo Hitman Reborn, only the Dying Wolf Flame could melt this kind of ice. In this world, aside from the Dying Wolf Flame that belonged to Vongola, only a strong haki could melt this ice. However, the current Sakazuki was not as strong as his future self. His haki was not enough to fight against the Dying Wolf Flame 0-point breakthrough. Well done, Sakazuki. Suddenly, Borsellino shouted as he formed a very sharp and durable sword out of light and solidified it before swinging it down, die. This scene made Sakazuki and Giotto a little stunned. Even if this Borsellino was going easy on Giotto, this was a little too obvious. Why? Because Borsellino just swung his sword into thin air, hitting nothing whatsoever. However, Sakazuki suddenly revealed a smile and said, "Well done, Borsellino. We finally got rid of this kid." Giotto was even more confused as he was still standing right in front of him. Were these two crazy, or did he hit his head somewhere? Boss. That crazy man is probably no match against the nouveau riche man. At this moment, Giotto heard a voice, and a frog had appeared in his field of vision. Thank you for listening. Do not forget to like and subscribe.